City Matters.
Hello and welcome to Many Voices, One Community, stories that unite us across Long Island and beyond. I'm Gaitley Stevenson-Mathews. I'm so very pleased to serve as Community Engagement Officer here at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. And I am also so very pleased to be the host of this podcast, and what a special treat today to have our police chief here in the city of Glen Cove, Chief Whitton. We're going to chat a little bit about what inspired Chief Whitton to become a police officer, how the police force is so very engaged in our community, and how you all are not only protecting us, but making such a positive impact in the community. So first off, Chief Whitton, thank you so much for joining us today.
Gaitley, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I will say. So here's the thing. So I moved here in 2007. And I'm not quite sure how I first got to know you. Certainly, I got to know you better when I served as a council member. But I will say, in all of the roles that I've been involved with, whether it's here at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center, as an elected official, and most importantly, just as a resident, you and your police force have always been so great about responding. And I would say responding on a very personal level. And I've personally appreciated that. I feel like that is part of the magic of why your force is so effective in our community. But before we get into all of that, I would just love for our listeners to hear a little bit about what inspired you to become a police officer. I know your family's from this area, but what really inspired you to become a police officer?
Okay, fair question. I grew up here in the community, actually third generation for my family. I have a degree in criminal justice, so I was always interested in going into law enforcement in some capacity or possibly onto law school. So I had finished college. I went to LIU, CW Post, and I was starting to look around at different law schools, and my neighbor, who I had a deep respect for, who was a Glen Cove police officer, his name was David Brown, came over and, talked to my father, talked to me like he always did. And he had mentioned that the Glen Cove Police Department was giving an exam, and he suggested I take it. So who was I to tell him no?
Right. And isn't that how it often begins?
Correct.
There is someone you respect, I think, whether it's an educator, someone in law enforcement, and what a difference that makes. So encourage you to take this exam. And what happened next?
So I took the exam. There were about 185 people that took it. Some people that I went to high school with, actually, that went on to be hired. So I took the exam, and I remember coming home, and my dad was like, "Hey, how did you do?" And I said, "Dad, I don't think I did that well. The test was a little bit more tricky than I thought."
Sure. And
he goes, "Well, because my grades were pretty good in college, so he seemed a little shocked over that. And I didn't really expect anything to come of it. Really, I didn't. And I ran into a friend of mine, and he came up to me, and he had taken the exam as well. And he said, "Hey, man, congratulations." I'm like, "For what?" He goes, "You're way up on top of the list. I think you're number 5.
So that's how
I didn't believe him. I thought he was pulling my leg. So I called up civil service, and sure enough, I was number 5. And that test was given in 1983. In 1984, October, I was hired. I went to the Nassau County Police Academy for 8 months, which was grueling training.
Oh my gosh!
Physical,
we have those young men and women come to the center. In fact, that's part of their training here at the Holocaust Center. And what a top-notch group of people. So, and not surprising that you came up through the ranks, knowing that academy and knowing what kind of officers they train.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's some of the best training in the whole country. I mean, Nassau County does it right.
Right.
So, came out a little more disciplined than I went in, which is a byproduct of what they do to you.
Sure, absolutely.
You have to be able to keep your composure,
right.
As things get torqued down.
Oh, sure.
And they do a really good, effective job at seeing if you're fit for that.
Sure, I understand. And I will say, those of us who know you, being fifth in the class does not surprise us at all. Those of us who know you.
Thank you.
And I will also say...
I actually want to say I broke the record in the academy for push-ups. I did 100.
Okay, so could you do 100 today? I bet you could.
I could probably not do 100, but I could probably impress you. I could probably do at least 50 or 60.
Okay.
But any event, I'm sitting in the academy class.
Yes.
And this lieutenant came in. His name was Gary Leonard. Big guy, looked like Daniel Boone, gigantic arms, and everybody was kind of like afraid of him. And he walks into the class and he goes, "Who in this class did 100 push-ups?" So nobody. And one thing you learn in the academy is never volunteer who you are. Don't say anything. So people are like, "It was Whitton," and they pointed me out, and he goes, "Really? Stand up." So I stand up, and everybody's like, making noises like he goes, "You broke my record." And I was like, "I'm sorry, sir." He goes, "No, I'm impressed." He goes, and from that day forward, we became, and still to this day, are friends.
That's nice. Yeah. That's really beautiful, that connection. And that was 40 years ago? It was a long time ago, right? That
was in
I'm a little older than you.
That was in 1984.
1984.
Right, 1984,
wow.
right.
Wow. Many years ago.
So I was fortunate enough to, come up through the ranks, do every job within the organization that there is to do. I did undercover work. I worked in the schools. I rode a motorcycle. I was fortunate enough to get a lot of opportunity through the police chief, Timothy Edwards, who stayed the police chief my entire career, and I replaced him when he retired.
And how many years ago was that?
It was in 2007. I became the chief.
Okay, and that's when I moved to Glen Cove. So
right.
You've been the only chief I have known since being here, and that's a good thing.
Okay.
So I would say, so impressive. So as you may know, I grew up in a little town in North Carolina, tiny little town. Right. And actually born in Durham, and then the family we lived in Roxborough, and then we moved to a little place called Pilot Mountain.
Okay.
And if you've ever been in the Mount Airy area or Winston-Salem, driving down the interstate, it's a mountain that has a knob. But the reason I bring up Pilot Mountain is in kindergarten, our teacher read a story to us. And the book was titled Mr. Friendly Policeman.
Okay.
I have tried to find that book so many times because it left such an impression on me. And of course, today you would say, Mr. Friendly Police Officer. So it's probably not in print anymore because it's not, this day and age, we have everybody from all ranks and certainly men and women serving in an amazing way. But for the longest time, the joke in the family, anytime I would see a police officer, I would say, hello, Mr. Friendly Policeman. As ridiculous as that is, the whole idea of learning respect and learning respect for our officers and for our first responders at a young age, and that being a part of how you grow up, how you understand police officers and enforcement of the law in your community. We don't have enough of that. And from my vantage point, I feel like you and your police force here in Glen Cove have done such an exceptional job at being an integral part of the community. I know you guys go into the school. I know you register the kids. Why don't you share with, again, our listeners a little bit about how have you made that happen? How has that happened here in Glen Cove?
Sure. So doing outreach to the community is one of the things that I think that we're really special as far as a police agency. We do a lot of work with the school system when the children are young, 5th grade as a matter of fact. So each year, every 5th grade student within the community, and this is private and public schools, will have an officer once a week for 9 weeks to come in and speak with them. Okay, and there's many topics that are covered. We highlight like negativism, don't be a bully, safety, respect for your peers, trying to educate them on the dangers of illicit drug use, and that's everything. That's all
right.
Drugs,
you've got to start young because
tobacco,
sadly,
right, alcohol, because any one of those things can be a gateway. Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be a beer. It doesn't have to be a marijuana cigarette. It doesn't have to be anything. It could just be one single thing that takes somebody down the wrong path. So we spent a lot of time on that. And at the end of this 9-week program, there's a graduation.
I love that.
Child gets a diploma with their name on it. It's signed by the police chief and the mayor. and it's hand delivered to the child by the mayor, the police chief, and the officers that teach it. So I have a number of officers that have been educated in how to teach this, and they're so good at it. They're so effective. They really resonate with the children. The children love them. And it gives the, when I did it, and I was the first person to do it in Glen Cove, the chief of police at the time, Timothy Edwards, in 1986, started what's called the Pride Program, which was an offshoot of DARE, which started in California.
Sure.
So we were one of the first police departments in Nassau County to offer it. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen to, be one of the instructors. And I had, I'd have kids coming up to me later in life, college-age kids, saying that program made a difference. Right. It made an impact on me. Right. It made me look at police officers differently. Right. So those are the positive things that come out of that.
Right. So it's planting a seed. Plant for respect and for appreciation for what you bring.
Right.
And for me, just having that open dialogue.
Sure.
I have one of my cousins. His daughter is a police officer, again, down in North Carolina. My roots here in the Carolinas. And part of her job was going into the schools. And she said exactly the same thing,
right.
that it makes such a difference when the students see you. And it's not because there's a problem,
right.
that there is trouble.
Right.
And boy, howdy, that is when we do want to see police officers, especially when you're on the right side of the law. But also the fact that you get to know your police force as an integral part of the community from beginning to end.
Correct.
As you may know, my dad was a dispatcher for our local police station, also EMS. And there is a culture when you're fortunate enough to have a connection. He wasn't a police officer, but certainly had an opportunity to get to know the police and how they serve. And the amazing thing to me, and certainly we found this with the Valance brothers, who were officers,
sure.
Derek and Owen. So many of those who served in the armed forces, when they come home, enter helping professions, and oftentimes first responders, police officers, firefighters. And I think it is that same commitment to serving the community and helping the community and doing the right thing by the people. I certainly think that is often the case. As I remember, you were a veteran, is that correct? Did you serve?
No, my dad did.
Your dad did?
Right.
Okay. So I was, I somehow remember that because my dad was also a veteran.
Okay.
And Mom was in the Cadet Nurse Corps. My dad was in the Navy. My brother
my dad was in the Navy as well.
Okay, well, maybe they knew each other. I think we're about that age. They probably would have been in around the same time. Right. But the wonderful thing that I think happens there is that you see how the personality of the person who serves and how that those people oftentimes gravitate towards serving as police officers. And certainly I find that to be the case here in Glen Cove.
Well, we try and put ourselves in a position to succeed, to make a difference. That's what I mean. Put ourselves in a position to actually make a difference. I go every year, along with the deputy chief, to a thing called the IACP, which is the International Association of Chiefs of Police. It's usually attended by 15 to 17,000 people from across the globe, given in the United States. A couple times I think it's been offshore, but generally it's in the United States and it bounces around the country. So one particular one that I went to was in Orlando, and it was right after Sandy Hook, the tragedy of Sandy Hook, and without really getting into it, a bunch of very young children lost their lives to a mentally deranged person that broke into a elementary school. The area of Sandy Hook was a geographical area similar to Glen Cove, almost the exact same size of the police force. And the chief of police in that community was first on scene. So he gave a presentation, and it was standing room only. There was probably about 500 or 600 people in this lecture. So it's basically 5 days filled of lectures, and
Right.
you have to look through them and choose one that you think might be of interest, and then move on to something else. So I saw that and wanted to hear the story. Luckily, I got there early, so I got a seat, but a lot of people didn't.
Wow.
So in any event, he tells the story of everything that happened that day and the tragedy of it all. And then he showed a video. And you can still access it on YouTube. And if you want to have a good cry, watch that video. So he showed the video. He had his back to the screen as the video played. And it went on for about maybe 15 minutes. And when the video went over, when it was over, I'm telling you, almost everybody in that room had tears in their eyes. How could you not? So he stood there for a minute and he said, the reason that my back was to that screen is for the very reason that I don't want to look at it, because I'll be like everybody else in this room right now.
Right,
Because
sure.
I can't watch it. So it was that impactful. And all he said was, this was the end of the lecture, I'll leave you with this. Are you doing everything you can in your community to protect your children? And he said it again. He goes, are you doing everything you can to protect your children? So I walked out of there and, sat down and started to think, started to wonder, what am I missing? Is there something I can do differently as the chief to, secure these schools better? So I came up with an idea. And that idea was basically to approach the school superintendent and speak with her on how we could better protect the kids. My idea was simple, was walkthroughs of the school, daily, randomized, omnipresent walkthroughs, where there's no set schedule. Each officer on whatever post he has, the city's divided into 5 posts, the schools are spread out through the community.
And I remember when this was happening. Yes, right. Yes.
So I laid this out to her. We'll walk through randomly. The good thing about this is the kids are going to see us more frequently. The administrators are going to see us more frequently. We're going to see them. We're going to get to know them. You'll never know what you stopped, okay? You'll never know, because
Right.
an innocent conversation between an officer and some child could turn out to be you prevented something.
Sure.
So, and the other good thing about it, too, is it gave the officers a real familiarization with all the different school layouts, okay? All Saints, when they were in existence, was like a maze. And
It's an old building,
oh
right?
my God,
Certainly,
it
right.
had 5 floors. So, and you know what I mean? So the more that you can put an officer, into these facilities to get to learn the logistics of the facilities, God forbid something happens.
I'm sure it's a matter of taking away the surprises. So,
Correct.
So once they walk in the door, they know.
Right.
They know.
So, and then I told you, I brought that YouTube video to the police department. I held a mandatory meeting. Everybody was there, and I showed it to them. Same result. When that video was over, I looked at them, and it was the same thing that happened when I watched it. So I said to them, now I have your attention. I said, I know that you're going to have some downtime. You want to, read the paper or do whatever you want. This was before the proliferation
sure.
of cell
Yeah.
phones, and people read newspapers. I was like, you want to read a newspaper a little bit? Okay, take a little bit of a break. Do it. Do it at the school. Park in the parking lot of the school. When you get done with an accident and you want to finish your accident report, don't come into headquarters and do it. Go to a school.
Right.
Be present.
Right.
And then walk through the schools and so on and so forth. We've been doing it ever since. It's been really well received. The kids like it. The officers like it. And I think it's, just an example, a small example of some of the things that we do to get out in front of things. Instead of being reactive, we're trying to be proactive.
Sure.
A lot of the officers that I work with give of themselves. They give of their own time. They're mentors.
Right.
So they'll help, underprivileged kids or kids that are having a tough time, and in many different ways.
Right.
Whether it's taking them out to a movie or taking them out to get something to eat or helping them with their homework, what have you. These are the things that no one really knows about.
Right.
I'm showcasing it right now because you're giving me an opportunity.
Right. No, absolutely. And I will say, those of us who are involved in so many different organizations in the city and on the North Shore, for example, Glen Cove EOC, I'm a board member there.
Yep.
But, there is oftentimes we will have an event and I forgot what the program is, but where you register the young kids.
Yes, Safe Child. Let's call it Operation Safe Child.
Operation Safe Child.
So we fingerprint them, right? And the parents love it. You
Right.
know, there's.
But again, does it not boil down to being prepared?
Of course,
So making sure if you need to find a child, now you have the information.
Correct.
So you've skipped probably a couple of days and several steps, and you know the vital information, the important information, and that again from just as a resident of Glen Cove. You know, we may not know all those things, and oftentimes I feel like it's good we don't know everything that's going on, because I feel like you all are taking the responsibility of protecting us. And, you know, I think that makes such a big difference. The other thing that where I see, what is it called? Operation
Safe Child.
Operation Safe Child. I also
We do
see
that
you
in
all-
cooperation with the Nassau County DA's office.
Okay.
They supply the equipment to do it, and
Okay.
we physically do it.
Okay, and I want to hold on to that thought because before we're done, I want to talk about fraud and Nassau County DA, because I've reached out to them recently. But before we go there, the other place where I see such a wonderful engagement with the young people is, of course, National Night Out.
Correct.
And they've really had some just tremendous people they've honored year after year. Certainly last year was the mayor. Just many other people. I believe they found somebody they're honoring this year. Is that correct? Were they able to find anybody who of stature they could honor?
You know, I don't really care for the person they found this year.
So as I understand, you're being honored this year, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So I saw that, and there's a part of me that feels like, well, it's about time. And I will say, Chief Whitton, just knowing you, I know you are not the person to say, step into the limelight and, you know, let me be the star. You are always lifting up your department and lifting up the community. And but what a great opportunity for our community and the city and our residents to join in honoring you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Gaitley.
Absolutely.
Our first year of doing it was in 2007. Deputy Chief Chris Ortiz came to me. He explained to me, I wasn't even familiar with the program. And it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every year that we do it. I mean, it's become very festive. I mean, National Night Out is national.
Right.
It happens the same day, across the country. So it's always in the beginning of August. Rain or shine.
Last year was tricky. I was there for 20 minutes.
We had to cancel last year because there was thunder and lightning. So
it was dangerous.
It was dangerous, and you know, I didn't want to make that decision, but I made it, and I was, you know, I'm glad I made it. In any event, we've had some really, really good honorees. It's gotten bigger and bigger every year.
Right.
It's very festive. So
I know
National Night Out started out as a partnership between the community and law enforcement to say no against crime. So they would go into areas that there was, you know, like a real criminal presence, and the people would march through those areas with the police and say no more. We're not gonna tolerate this.
Strong.
In Glen Cove, we're really fortunate. We don't really have. I mean, we have crime. You know, tell me a community that doesn't, and I'll move there. We have crime, but I think we're pretty effective at dealing with it.
I believe the number I've often seen is that we're one of the top 100 in the nation as far as safest
Correct,
cities.
and within New York State, we're number 2.
Right.
So
That's why,
you know,
that's no mistake.
That's a credit to our officers and to our detectives.
I would agree.
They work seamlessly together.
Yeah.
You know, we really do work real well together. Our command staff, our sergeants, you know, our detectives and our officers all pull together when we need to.
Yeah.
And we have a very youthful department, and they're eager to work, but they also know the value of treating people fairly, honestly. Even when sometimes we have to make an arrest, you're taking somebody's freedom away, but you don't take their dignity. And they all know that. And they treat people with respect even when they make mistakes. And those mistakes lead to an arrest.
Right. And that is such a great tribute to your officers because,
I agree.
You know, the knee-jerk reaction may very well be, you know, how dare you, you know, behave this way, and that but the fact that then you approach it with firmness,
Right.
but also thoughtfulness and respect, that
Correct.
makes all the difference in the world. You know, we forget, I mean, I've lived many places in the country and have now lived in New York State longer than I've lived anywhere else. But especially if you're not from here or you moved here from somewhere else, you recognize what a great gift we have in good policing, in safe neighborhoods, and having a strong, positive camaraderie with law enforcement.
Right.
That's giant.
It is.
The 37th, I forgot the number, 37th best place, City of Glen Cove by Money Magazine. You know, those things happen because of a lot of things.
Correct.
But if your community does not feel safe,
Right.
there is no aspect of the community that is not impacted.
Well, that's correct.
Whether it be commerce, whether it be your schools, whether it's being the aging community, it has to start at a place of feeling safe. And for that reason, what you and your force bring to the North Shore and specifically Glen Cove is giant. Really.
Well, you know, it's I appreciate what you said, but it's beyond us. It's also Harbor Patrol. It's the auxiliary police. It's the
Yes.
fire department. It's EMS. I mean, Glen Cove has all of that.
Yes.
Lots of
Yep.
communities don't.
Yeah.
They have to rely on larger organizations to respond.
Right.
And that could lead to a delay in actually getting an officer or somebody that they need on scene.
Right. And
Here, our response time is generally under 2 minutes, sometimes 2.5 minutes, depending on what's going on.
Right. And I have never seen the different law enforcement and police and firefighters not get along. We were just at the bike parade, and you had everybody there, and everybody knows each other, and everybody's making sure everyone is safe, and that makes such a difference in the community.
It really does.
You know, this is hard to believe, but our time is up, Chief.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
I just thank
How
you
long
so
was
much
this?
for being here. It was 30 minutes. It's
Get outta
very
here.
quick.
It felt like it was
Absolutely.
like
Or
10
25
minutes.
minutes. Very quick. So that's it for Many Voices, One Community. I'm Gaitley Stevenson-Mathews. I'm so very pleased to serve as host. My guest today was Chief Whitton of the Glen Cove Police Force. And please make sure you check out all of our podcasts at HMTV, hmtcli.org/HMTV. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Thank you.